What is going on, everybody? I am super excited to have you here. My name is Victor Macias, and this is Module 1, Introduction to Social Enterprise. Now, you've signed up for the course, Idea to Impact, how to create your social enterprise. And this module is key to getting things started on the right track. Going to lay down a lot of the foundation that's going to be used to really take that idea that you have and how to execute on it. So, what are we going to talk about today? So, we're going to identify what a social enterprise is. I'm going to walk you through the journey of what it's like to be a social entrepreneur. We're going to understand impact, right? How is impact measured? What are the characteristics of successful entrepreneurs? Do you have them? Can you work on some? Should we find help to supplement some? How do we navigate the challenges? And then a lot of resources and tools to really help you get started on the right track. So my journey in social entrepreneurship, you see, for the longest time, I was really conflicted. There was a part of me that as a kid, I wanted to build very successful businesses. I was, I'm talking like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, these companies that changed the world. Uh, as a kid, seeing my mom wake up at 4 a.m. to go to work, there was something in me, and to work like her production job. There was something in me that wanted to find a way to fix that, right? Like, how do I make it so my mom doesn't have to work anymore? And entrepreneurship became that vehicle. But I was also conflicted because in my heart, I was really driven towards social impact and social justice. I have, but I'm a family of immigrants. So I saw how so many of them had so much potential, but either they had a mental block or a societal block standing in the way. And I wanted to find a way to fix that. So I was like, how can I be this guy building this successful company while my people are struggling? Right. So I used to see it like this. But it wasn't until I launched my last project, Niarani, that I realized that they can actually overlap, that business can be a vehicle towards social impact. So a couple of years back, I was struggling with some challenges that were going on in my personal life and business, and I took a trip to Oaxaca, Mexico. My family's from Mexico, not from Oaxaca, but I had always wanted to be there because there's a lot of rich culture. There's a lot of indigenous roots that are still very prevalent, and I've always loved that. And if you see this picture below, this is actually a lady that makes one of our bags, an artisan that makes one of our bags, and she uses it's called the waist loom technique. And she'll get colored strands of cotton and uses a very traditional approach to turn that into a bag. And I saw that there was just all of this beautiful art. And I was like, how can I help distribute that? How can I help bring that to more people? And that's where this idea of Niarani happened. It was about merging passion and purpose. And we work directly with artists. So while I was in Oaxaca, I started connecting directly with the artists. Like, I love your work. Is there a way that we can do, big orders? Let's talk about how to pay, fair trade practices, but also how do I position this as a premium product? So see, that's where the entrepreneurship side and the social cause side kind of married. And the mission of the brand is to empower artisans while building a profitable company along the way. And that was a very key moment because that's when I realized that enterprise could be a vehicle to solve society's biggest problems. But before we dive in deep, who the heck am I? So I am a serial entrepreneur. I've been one for over 15 years. My last startup, me and a good friend grew it to over 7 figures in under 2 years with only $3,000 out of our pocket. It was a low carb keto cookie. And we even landed a deal on Shark Tank. My passion is around helping others become the best version of themselves. And I feel that by helping entrepreneurs, that will create a cascading domino it's like knocking over the domino that kind of creates the most impact. So by helping entrepreneurs become better versions of themselves, I believe I can help society become better versions of itself. I'm also a mentor at the Cal State Fullerton Startup Incubator, and I've mentored over 100 companies. So today I'm going to share my journey, what I've learned, but also the journey of our team and all of their experience, very condensed into this roadmap. So what is a social enterprise? Very simply, a social enterprise is an organization that applies business strategies to address social, environmental, or economic issues. The goal is to maximize profits while maximizing the benefits to society and the environment. So it's more of an and, it's not an or. What a social enterprise is not, it is not a nonprofit. A social enterprise focuses on profits while also impacting society. They focus on empowering communities and individuals through innovation and creativity. They don't sacrifice financial success. So there is and I'm going to show you in a couple of slides, but it's about balancing profit with purpose and impact. And it's not exclusive to specific industries or sectors. So you may be familiar with some social enterprises like Tom's Shoes, right? That's in the apparel industry. Well, there's also social enterprises in the financial sector. There's a skincare company that we're going to talk about. It applies to food. One of the startups I'm working on right now is focused on creating a sustainable supply chain so that our ingredients for our food product are made ethically and in a responsible way that doesn't hurt the environment. A very simple way to look at it is look at these three circles and see how they overlap, right? On the top circle, it's people, which you've talked about. It's the planet, and it's profit. Where those three overlap, that's where you have a sustainable business model, and that's where a successful social enterprise can live. If you're going to look at social enterprise, you need to understand the triple bottom line. So those three circles that I talked to you about, we're going to break them down a little more. So in the people side, are we paying people fairly? Are there safe working conditions? Let's look at local partnerships, ethical sourcing, fair trade, inclusivity and diversity in hiring. In planet, are we conserving resources? Are we creating sustainable products and services? Are we focused on reducing our carbon footprint? On the profit side, are we reinvesting profits in towards our social mission? Are we focused on not just short-term, but long-term financial planning? Are we being transparent in our financial management? There's this company that I love. It's Nisolo, Nisolo, and they make these beautiful leather shoes. I believe that their factory is based in Peru. But what's really beautiful about their business is they have a page called like our social impact report, and they actually show how much money is being reinvested in the community, how many jobs they've created, how our profits being invested to help grow their social mission. So it's very transparent in what they're doing, also being transparent in the fact that they are a business that they want to grow to be profitable. Now, this slide is about comparing what a traditional business is compared to a social business. Now, I'm going to point out a couple of these. The biggest one is in a traditional enterprise, the goal is simply profit maximization. How can we make the most amount of money for our investors as possible? In a social enterprise, it's how can we create social impact while also making a profit? Traditional, you measure success by financial returns. Social, you measure by financial and social impact. With a traditional enterprise, it's driven by customer demands. What does the customer want? What's their problem? How do we solve it? With a social enterprise, it's driven by the community needs and social innovation. So what are the societal problems that we're trying to solve? And how can we create a business model that will help us solve those problems? So do you have what it takes? You're here because you're interested in the concept of social enterprise. But now I want to talk about you as the entrepreneur. Do you have what it takes to be successful? Well, first, I want to give you some truths about entrepreneurship. And the truth is, your first idea may not work. In my journey, I have launched and failed, launched and failed. I've had ebooks, I've had software companies where I ran out of money. I've had uh, digital products where I sold and people wanted refunds. But every time I tried something new, I got better and I got better and I got better. So your first idea may not work. It may take longer than you think, months, years. It will cost more than you think. In my experience, I've seen it typically cost at least 3 times more than what you budgeted for your business to grow and to start. Get comfortable with the word no and learn how not to take no personally. No is the pathway to yes. Realize that self-doubt and imposter syndrome is normal. You're going to feel doubt on your way because your current identity is going to shift as you become more successful. So it's normal for there to be this gap. So what's your why? Knowing that there are challenges on the way, your why is going to be very important to keep you on track and keep you focused on your mission. So with your why, the goal is to tap into your purpose. What drives you to make a positive impact? Obviously you're not just driven by profit, right? You're driven because you want to make a change in the world in a societal manner, correct? So which social, environmental, or economic issues are resonating with you? How do we align your passion, what drives you, and your values? What unique skills and knowledge and resources do you bring to the table? See, it's not just enough to have passion and conviction that you want to change something. How do you align what you are naturally and innately great at so that you are more likely to succeed? What is your vision for the future? What inspires you in the world? And why is this why so important? Because your why is your North Star. As you're building your business, there's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. Your North Star is what's going to keep you focused. So my why, after a lot of self-exploration, is about helping people become the best version of themselves. Right? I truly believe that we all have this untapped potential. That if we uncover the layers that we use to shield ourselves, there's this potential that we are born with that can be developed and curated and expressed. So as I face setbacks in my business, I realized that I'm here for a bigger purpose, and that is my bigger purpose. So what is your why? Now we're going to take some time. I'd like you to pause this presentation, and we're going to take some time to craft a personal mission statement. And basically, your mission statement is your why in written form. Don't skip this part because this is going to be key to help you recalibrate as you move forward. There's going in the module itself, we have a couple of activities. So you'll actually locate this and there should be resources in there where you can fill it out. But here's kind of what to expect. You're going to focus on your values and your passions. You're going to identify your unique strengths and weaknesses. The goal not being to fix your weaknesses, but to find ways to supplement your weaknesses and create guardrails around them. How to define your desired impact. How to define who you want to serve. And I've actually created a template on filling this out. So basically, I am committed to insert your action, to create specific impact for your target customer by leveraging my fill in the blank. And an example here, it's I am committed to empowering underserved communities to achieve financial independence by leveraging my expertise in financial literacy, education, and entrepreneurship. All right, so if you haven't done the activity, pause, do the activity, and now we move on to the characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. So we talked about the assumptions that we can make and how things are going to take longer than we think. They're going to cost more. So what are the traits that successful entrepreneurs have? One is they have a passion for their business. Two is they are very product and customer focused. They have tenacity and grit. They are adaptable, which means they can respond to incoming information and they can pivot. They're flexible, they're adaptable. They have an ability to execute. Ideas are not enough. Strategies are not enough. You need to implement and you need to execute. And they know how to prioritize. Yeah, as you grow as an entrepreneur, your to-do list is going to expand and expand and expand. Are you able to find what is the most critical towards your business's growth and focus and execute? That's important to be a successful entrepreneur. Let's dive into the passion. Are you willing to work hard for an extended period of time with no payoff? A lot of times what trips up entrepreneurs is this desire to get immediate gratification. I'm working this long, therefore I should be seeing results now. The reality is, a lot of times you're not going to see results until much further down the line than you expect. So it's like going to the gym and lifting weights and being frustrated because your body isn't changing 2 weeks after starting. You need to be consistent. You need to work out. 6 weeks down the line, 12 weeks down the line, that's when you're going to see results. You need to be able to overcome setbacks and you need to be able to accept feedback. Are you coachable? If you're walking in thinking that you know the answers, you're already working backward. There's a lot that you're going to learn and you need to be willing to be coached and accept feedback from mentors, from advisors, from customers. Accept feedback. Now, what do we mean by product customer focused? Are you thinking customer first? When you're creating a product, a service, are you creating it because you want it or because there is clear data showing you that your customers want what you're going to sell? Do you understand their needs and their desires? I believe it's module 2 or 3, we're going to talk about how to actually understand and get data from customers showing you what their problems are so you can solve them. And are you always improving your products and your services? If you are running a business correctly, you're going to continually get feedback, either positive or negative, from customers. Are you adapting? Are you improving continually? Do you have the grit and the tenacity? Are you willing to work hard, like I said, and push through setbacks? Do you have the determination to keep going? Are you committed to your higher purpose when you're tired, when things maybe aren't working like you were hoping? Are you focused on your North Star? Are you tapping into your why? I think one of the greatest secrets, hacks that an entrepreneur can have is to learn how to love the journey, not the destination. Instead of chasing that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, are you loving what you're doing daily? Are you loving the challenges that you're facing, the lessons that you're learning, the fact that you're growing? If you can learn how to love the journey, you will have the stamina to stick to your business for the amount of time that it takes for it to actually become successful. Can you execute? Can you learn quickly? Are you a generalist? I like to think of entrepreneurs as conductors in an orchestra. You understand enough about the trumpets, enough about the clarinets, enough about the instrument, the tuba, so that you can create a song. Be able to be a generalist. Do you have strong decision-making and problem-solving skills? Now I want you to pause again, and we have an entrepreneurial trait self-assessment. I want you to rate yourself on each trait. And this is going to be key, and it's something that a lot of entrepreneurs don't do. We need to identify what you're uniquely great at so that we can double down. So we need to reflect on personal experiences, on achievements, consider your passions, your interests. We have a process to assess your skills and evaluate your abilities. Can you seek feedback from others that know you? And we're going to utilize some assessment tools to really identify where you're uniquely great at so that we can align that with the type of business that you want to create. This is one of my favorite quotes from Tim Ferriss. And he says, "It is far more lucrative and fun to leverage your strengths instead of attempting to fix all of the chinks in your armor. The choice is between multiplication of results using strengths or incremental improvement fixing weaknesses that will at best become mediocre." Stop trying to fix your weaknesses. If you do, all you'll do is spend a lot of time to create something that's mediocre. Instead, double down on what you're great at and find tools, people, technology to supplement your weaknesses. And I actually have some practical examples in these modules where we're going to talk about how to do that. And actually, I've broken some stuff down here as well. So how can we leverage a team to overcome weaknesses? Well, first is we need to identify the strengths and weaknesses, and you need to find a team or people that can complement what you're great at. I'll give you an example. Based on my personality tests and self-assessments, I rank highly on the creative side. I love building and starting new things. I lack attention to detail, and I lack the ability to manage projects effectively. So rather than trying to become a great project manager, I've hired somebody who acts as a project manager for me. Somebody who I can get a project to 60, 70% done, and they can take the last 30% because they're great at the details and the minutia. So look for people that can complement what your weaknesses are. If you're a solopreneur and you don't want to hire anybody or don't have plans of hiring people, there are ways to get help to supplement your weaknesses. So one is have a strong network, right? Network with other entrepreneurs, and maybe they have processes or tools that they use. Freelancers and consultants. So rather than think hiring somebody long term, are there professionals that you can hire on a project basis or on a task basis? You can use tools like Upwork or even Fiverr. Can you automate? Are there tasks that you do over and over and over again that you can just use simple? I mean, now you have AI, you have Zapier, which are tools that can help automate repetitive tasks. Virtual assistants. I've actually over the years worked with a couple of virtual assistants overseas to help me do a lot of the repeated tasks to allow me to do more creative work. So why now? Why is now the time to start a social enterprise? For one is the demand is there. You know, people are willing to pay a premium for a product that they know is doing good for the world. There is a growing impact in investors looking to invest in social enterprise companies. There's a global focus on sustainability, and there is increased collaboration and support. People want transparency. They want to connect with the why of a brand. And studies are showing that people are willing to spend more for that, and they're willing to support a company for that. So that is why now is the time to start if you haven't started before or have thought about starting. So these are the big players, right? When people think social enterprise, you think Goodwill, Patagonia, Tom's Shoes, or Charity Water. But I want to give some maybe lesser known examples. So Beam. Beam is a crowdfunding platform with the goal of solving homelessness by enabling new career opportunities for homeless men and women. They use technology and global citizens to help fund skills and trainings and education for homeless individuals. Era 92 is made up of driven entrepreneurs investing in social enterprises to create jobs. Their goal is to focus on ending poverty and youth unemployment. Now, Shea Yeleen, I like this brand a lot because they're a skincare company focused on giving back. So they have handcrafted products to nourish more than just your skin. And here's how they assess or contribute to social impact. Every purchase directly contributes to the financial empowerment of women in Ghana, which builds stronger communities. So the more product you buy from them, the more you donate to the women in Ghana, and they have programs to help empower those women. So how do you start? Just start. One of my favorite quotes is from Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, and he says, "I believe that starting a company is like jumping off a cliff and assembling a plane on the way down. Your willingness to jump is the most valuable asset as an entrepreneur. I'm here to tell you that the perfect time will never arrive. You will never be at a point where you get like aha, now everything is lined up perfectly. Let's go." To be a successful entrepreneur, get into the habit of launching and fixing as you go. I forgot who to attribute this to, but it's basically ready, fire, aim. This is another great quote from Hugh Laurie. It says, "It's a terrible thing, I think, in life to wait until you're ready. I have this feeling now that actually no one is ever ready to do anything. There is almost no such thing as ready. There's only now. And you may as well do it now. Generally speaking, now is as good a time as any." It's okay to fail. I've had my share of failures, and every time I've failed and I've started again, I've been better. I've done it faster. I've been more efficient, more effective. Failure is a part of the journey. The greatest lessons can come from failure. And if you're going to fail, learn quickly. We're going to talk about the lean startup method and future modules. And a part of that is testing and learning to iterate and fail quickly and cheaply. So learn to fail quickly. So what stops most entrepreneurs? Well, for one is not enough resources, not enough planning, not enough time, not the right logo, not the right product, not the right customer. Here's the truth. It's fear. It's fear of failure. A couple of years back, I had this idea for a startup that was going to revolutionize the fitness world. I'm talking, this was like 15 years ago. It was going to be an app that was going to allow personal trainers to train people online. So I was going to be a platform where a personal trainer can come, upload their curriculum. I was going to connect them with the end user. I invested my life savings at this time. I had a team overseas that was helping me develop the product, and it looked great. There was a lot of features, a lot of bells and whistles. And I would keep going back and I would say, well, can we add a button that does this? Can we change the color now to red instead of green? Oh, it would be nice if I had this other feature. It would be nice if I had this other feature. Eventually, I ran out of money and I never launched. The developers stopped responding, and I had a half-finished product that I couldn't do anything with. And the saddest part of everything in that story is a couple of weeks later, I came across another business with a third of the features that I had, and they were kicking butt. They were doing great. And the difference between them and me is they launched. I realized later that the reason why I was obsessing over the logo, over the color of the button, was because I was afraid that I was going to launch and fail. And by not launching, it failed anyway. So a lot of times when we're waiting for this perfect moment, it's because we're afraid of failure. And with this feeling of failure is this thing we call imposter syndrome. And it's basically this self-doubt where you kind of feel like a fraud, right? That's not me. I'm not an entrepreneur. There's no way I can be successful. Or you feel like you're not good enough. Or if you do well, you think it's because of luck. And it's very prevalent. To overcome it, we need to accept that it's a real thing and it happens. And we can actually use it as a way to leverage and use it as fuel to keep learning and get better. Now, this statistic really blew my mind, and it shows that 65% of professionals are affected by imposter syndrome. That means that the people that you admire, that you look up to, that you see as superheroes, a lot of them also feel imposter syndrome. So one is to be aware that it exists, and two is to act in spite of it existing. This is the imposter syndrome cycle. If you want to kind of dive in deeper, you can pause the slide. I'm not going to go into every point, but it is a deeper look at what imposter syndrome is. Now, here I want you to pause, and we have another activity. And a lot of times we talked about fear, imposter syndrome, is we tend to turn a blind eye to our resources and the help that we already have. Most of us have a network that we're not tapping into. We have tools, we have knowledge that's available to us. I want you to complete the following activity and brainstorm a list of the resources and support systems available to you. So go back to the module, find this activity, and there's actually going to be some prompts to help you gain clarity on what resources you have. Another quote from Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, is the fastest way to change yourself is to hang out with the people who are already the way you want to be. Somebody else phrased it a different way. I think it's Tony Robbins. It says you are the average of the 5 people who you spend the most time with. Who do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? And how can you surround yourself with people already there? There's incubators, there's accelerators, there's networking groups, there's meetups. Surround yourself with people that have achieved what you want to achieve. So what's stopping you? In this next activity, the reason why we have these activities is because I don't just want this to be theory. I want this to be something that you're actually implementing as you go, and actually doing the work along the process will help internalize a lot of these principles. So we're going to identify your personal barriers to starting a social enterprise and come up with strategies to overcome these barriers. So it ties into the weaknesses and your blind spots that I talked about. How can we overcome these? One of the main takeaways I want you to have is you can both be profitable and do social good. They can coexist in business. Growing demands for ethical and sustainable products make this more possible than ever. The more profitable you are, the more you can fuel social impact, like that skincare line, right? The more profitable they are, the more they can invest in those programs to help people. I believe that the future of entrepreneurship is social entrepreneurship, and a new paradigm is happening right now. The world is shifting. It's a great time to take advantage of this wave of business of social enterprise. And this concludes module 1. The things that we talked about were embracing social entrepreneurship, letting you know that profit and social good can be combined to create a better future. You've understood your why, you've tapped into your mission and your core values. I think a huge takeaway is if you've done the work, you now understand your strengths as well as your weaknesses and your blind spots. You have a strategy for overcoming your weaknesses, your blind spots, your barriers. I've laid out a process to build a successful team, whether it be a contractor, somebody you hire using technology to supplement. And I want you to know that the journey begins now. Don't wait until you've watched all of the modules. Start now. Start building now. Because together, I believe that we can change the world. So congratulations on module 1. Make sure that you've done the activities, look at the supplemental information in the module, and then you can jump on to the next module.